Hello, this is Morel Bernard with the continuation of the story Booker T. Washington, an American. Booker T. Washington, an American. And please subscribe to the channel and please share these videos. Last words were, and the shoes are sold at a definite rate. What percent is gained, or for what must they be sold so as to gain a certain percent? Much actual outdoor work is done during the study of trigonometry, and in surveying the student learns to lay off lots, country roads, to plot, map, etc. The last term of the senior year is spent in mastering the elements of civil engineering, work for which the first 2 terms have prepared the student. The South is sorely in need of surveyors and men grounded in the elements of engineering. Positions of this character are easy to find and pay well. The object of the work in nature study as taught in the academic department is to train the faculty of observation, create an interest in and love of nature, gain knowledge which will be of service in the future, and to cultivate a practical interest in agriculture. Knowledge of things near at hand should be acquired first, and later of things more distant. A clear and definite acquaintance with home surroundings, plants, animals, minerals, natural phenomena, and the human body is made by the basis of the teaching as a foundation for more advanced study. In the assignment of work and selection of material for study, the special needs or special classes are kept in mind, the work being determined by the student's power of observation and interpretation. Subjects for study are selected largely according to the seasons. This work is conducted with reference to its correlation with geography, language, and other subjects. Field excursions collecting and preserving specimens and gardening of various kinds are prominent features of the courses in natural study. The school offers also, through the academic department, a 2-year course, especially treating of the affairs of the farm. Instruction is by laboratory work, supplemented by textbooks, lectures, and reference readings, which are assigned from standard volumes and periodicals. The student is brought into close practical contact with his subject. He studies farm implements, traces root systems of corn and other crops, tests germination of seeds, determines the properties of soils and the effect of various crops and of rotation of crops upon soil fertility. He tests milk, studies butter and cheese, and judges a variety of animals. The school owns an ample supply of ploughs, cultivators, planters, cutters, engines, etc. It has extensive collections of agricultural plants, seeds, and products. Laboratories are well equipped with apparatus for the study of manures, fertilizers, soil, bacteriology, germination of seeds, and judging cotton and corn. The institute grounds and the fields and orchards of the experiment station are always available for illustrations in classwork. Collections of seeds and woods, cabinets of beneficial and noxious insects, photographs, maps, charts, and drawings afford valuable material for study and demonstration. Specimens of draft and coach horses, Jersey, Ayrshire, and Holstein cattle, Southdown sheep, and Berkshire swine afford material for judging. In the dairy division is a complete outfit for cream separation and butter and cheese making. We have also levels, microscopes, and an extensive list of agricultural journals. a complete file of experiment station bulletins from all the states, and an excellent assortment of standard reference books. The one purpose is to acquaint the student with the facts and principles needed for the improvement of soils, the increase of fertility, the nature of the various crops, the conditions governing their successful and economic production, and with the general development of agriculture. The student is also made familiar with animals, first, as to fitness for specific purposes, second, as to their care and management, third, as to their improvement by breeding, and fourth, as to the manufacture of animal products. He learns the principles of orchard management, small fruit culture, vegetable gardening and plant propagation, as well as the evolution of cultivated plants. A sense of the beautiful is cultivated and given expression in floriculture, to the end that more of nature's beauty shall pervade the home and its surroundings. The work of each year of strictly mental education is prescribed. We aim to arouse a student's interest in important educational problems with a special reference to the South, rewarding that interest with practical suggestions, and to train efficiently the teachers who will render valuable service in school and society. The courses in normal education comprise a critical study of human nature, an outline history of American education, general and special methods in teaching, and school organization and administration. The students in these courses observe expert teaching in a primary school under the direction of the academic department. Senior students are not only permitted to observe, but also to practice teaching under supervision. This division of education is being strengthened and keeps steadily before it the fact that Tuskegee is to send out teachers as well as train artisans and industrial leaders. The courses in chemistry and in physics, more clearly than any other academic courses, complement the work of the industrial department. Thus, in the course in chemistry, operations in the shops and on the farm involving chemical reactions are drawn upon as illustrative material for the first year's work. The artisan with a knowledge of chemical matters grows and thinks and is not automatic. The courses are not those in which the students are merely taught how to do, but to do. Soap is taken apart and put together. Polishes, lacquers, chemical cleansers are not known merely as formulae, but are actually made in small quantities by students themselves, so as to develop their power of doing things. Is this flour, bran, and baking powder pure? Is the fertilizer of high grade? How shall the sick room be disinfected? How shall we destroy the cabbage devouring worm? To these and similar questions, the division of chemistry seeks to enable students readily to find answers. In the course in physics, the principles take up are illustrated by the actual work going on in the outside building construction and the farm work. Great stress is laid upon the bearing of physics on tools, machines, and operations of the shops. Inspection of the various industrial plants in the vicinity of Tuskegee is required in order that the student may see the applications of physics to the processes in use. Throughout the courses, a notebook is accurately kept by each student in which are recorded the results of his observations and experiments, together with sketches for illustration. An exercise given to one of the junior classes in the night school not long ago shows how the attempt is made, even in so simple a matter as a spelling lesson, to correlate the academic work with the industrial. Class in physiology. The theme of this lesson was building a chest, and the teacher brought to the class a small chest in which were placed most of the tools and materials needed in its construction. The teachers exhibited each article as he came to it in telling the story, and required the student to spell the word and then write it on the blackboard as neatly as possible. The synonyms and homonyms of some of the words were given, and the student required to illustrate their difference in spelling and use. The teacher proceeded as follows, eliciting from the students the words in italics. To build this article, we must have timber, such as pine or cedar or cypress, and other material. We also need several tools, such as plane to smooth the planks, a chisel to cut these dovetails, and some glue with which to fasten the pieces together substantially, as we shall not need nails. Then with these sprigs we put on this moulding, which should be cut in a mitre, or we may cut it by this bevel, which can be changed to a square. We now put on these butts, knots, strap, hinges, with screws. In front must be bored, a hole, and the lock put on. Then the estrogen over the hole as a finish. The key is inserted, and we have completed the chest. A carpenter, one engaged in carpentry, or a cabinet maker, build things like this, and we call him a mechanic. The practical usefulness of the academic department lies in the aid which the study of physics and chemistry and mathematics and drawing offers to the blacksmith, the carpenter, the nurse, and the housewife, an aid what does much to transform listlessness and drudgery into vivacity and gratifying efficiency. While the men must work to get and keep the home, the wives and daughters must in a great measure supply and guard the health, strength, morals, and happiness of the family. Their responsibility is great in all that makes for the development of the individual and the community. The home is built on an ancient foundation among the white population of this country, especially in the rural communities. The Negro has had to learn the meaning of home since he learned the meaning of freedom. All work which has to do with his uplifting must begin with his home and its surroundings. Those familiar only with the rural life of the North and West, where even in poverty there are deep-rooted habits of thrift and comfort, do not know what home lacks among great masses of the cabin dwellers of the South. Nowhere is there a nobler opportunity than that which confronts the young women who are learned and at Hampton and Tuskegee and other educational institutions what home should be. The crowded one-room cabin affects the moral and physical life of the family. It slowly destroys the right inclinations given by nature to every child and develops a manner of life which, cooperating with other causes, produces mental weakness, loss of ambition, and a shiftless disregard of responsibilities. It goes without saying that many of the young women who come to Tuskegee need such training as will enable them to make homes that are worthy the name. It is the need first at hand, and the school tries to meet it in a practical way. The most liberal courses in literature and the sciences, if they exclude all practical training that will help a young woman to solve the problems which center around her own hearth, will not help her to get what she needs most. At Tuskegee, she is given a thorough English education. She can go out from the school and obtain a teacher's position in a field where the demand is greater than the supply, but after all her duty begins at home, and it would be worse than folly to overlook these essentials. It is interesting to note in this connection that after the household training system of Tuskegee had been in operation for some time, the need of similar education for young women whose natural advantages were infinitely greater than those of the coloured girls in the South prompted the following announcement in the advertisement of what is perhaps the most high-priced and exclusive seminary in Massachusetts. In planning a system of education for young ladies with the view of fitting them for the greatest usefulness in life, the idea was conceived of supplementing the purely intellectual work by practical training in the art of home management and its related subjects. It was the first school of high literary grade to introduce courses in domestic science into the regular curriculum. The results were so gratifying as to lead to the equipment of Experiment Hall, a special building fitted for the purpose of studying the principles of applied housekeeping. Here the girls do the actual work of cooking, marketing, arranging menus, and attend to all the affairs of a well-arranged household. Courses are arranged also in sewing, dressmaking, and millinery. They are conducted on a similar practical basis and equip the student with a thorough knowledge of the subject. A dozen years ago, I do not believe that any such announcement would have been made. At Tuskegee, there is a modest dwelling of 4 rooms called the Practice Cottage. In the shadow of the massive brick buildings which surround it, this cottage seems to have strayed in from some one of the country roads around Tuskegee. But it has a trim and well-kept air such as all country homes can have, no matter how poor and simple they may be. It contains a bedroom, a sitting room, a dining room, and kitchen. These rooms are comfortably furnished for family housekeeping, but there is nothing in them that is not within reach of any Alabama farmer who is able to make both ends meet. Much of the furniture is homemade. The cretonne-covered chairs, divan, and sofa are made from common barrels, which the girls are taught to make into furniture in the upholstery department. This kind of utility furniture has been so successful for ornament and comfort that a good deal of it has been ordered by visitors for their northern homes. The floors of the cottage are covered with clean, cheap matting and oilcloth, and the students are taught to make pretty and serviceable mats from corn husk. Whatever there is in the rooms is in good taste, for pictures, wallpaper, and humble adornment can be worked out in good taste without extra cost. The girls of the senior class live in the practice cottage in turn, 4 at one time, for periods of 5 weeks. They are able to put into practice, under the supervision of Mrs. Washington, much that they have learned in their school life of 3 or 4 years. This is not in reality an experiment station, for the girls are thoroughly equipped to take charge of every department of the house, and they run it themselves, being held responsible only for results. They do the sweeping, dusting, cooking, washing and ironing, sewing if need be, and their own marketing. The family of 4 is given an allowance of not more than $3 a week for food, which they invest at the school store and the school farm. With this allowance, they are expected to set the table for four and to run their cuisine through the week without any outside help. This seems a very modest sum, but it is in fair proportion to the average incomes of the class of people who need just such training. The girls are thoroughly acquainted with the nutritive and appetizing values of the foods which would be available in their home neighborhoods. Distinguished visitors have been guests of the practice cottage girls and have enjoyed the simple meals skillfully prepared by the hostesses, who make no extra preparations. On their small allowance and with the menu prepared in advance, they are able to entertain without flurry or embarrassment. They have been taught that the truest hospitality is in making the most of what one has to do with and offering no apologies for the absence of luxuries one cannot afford. The practice cottage is well kept and is an interesting picture in miniature of the essentially practical side of the school gospel of hard work with the hands as a part of a useful education. Okay, I'll see you there. See you for the next video. See you for the next video of Booker T. Washington. Booker T. Washington, an American. See you in the next video of Booker T. Washington, an American. I'll see you then. Morale saying bye for now.